y'all, it's Kate from The Lifestyle Lady. How are you? How are you doing? Some of the comments I've had since I've been producing more YouTube videos has been about getting to know me better, understanding why I am where I am and all the things about my life. So I thought, how can I portray that to you? How can you get to know me a little better, things that I'm interested in personally? So I thought I'll have a go at the YouTube getting to know me tag. Getting to know you, la 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 da da da. Bit of the King and I. Clearly I need to learn more than one line. Lesson 1. Okay, so let's have a go. Let's see, this is the first time I've got these questions, so the answer is going to be pretty spontaneous, but let's jump in. What is my middle name? Victoria. Don't think you get many Victorias. I don't hear many Victorias. There were a few Victorias in my class when I was at school, but now it's kind of like a name you very seldom hear. Victoria is my middle name. What's my favorite color? Ooh, tough one, because I love pink, but maybe blue. I probably would say blue because there's so many different shades. Who was my first best friend? Ooh, probably that I can think of when I was in primary school, a girl called Claire Watling. I have no idea where she is, what she's doing with her life, but I hope, Claire, you're happy and healthy and well, and I say hi. Number 4, how tall am I? Goodness me, I am about 5'10½", so I'm pretty tall. Cats or dogs? Ooh, dogs, definitely dogs. Funniest moment throughout school? Ooh. These are so new to me, so I'm literally coming out with one of the first things. This seems crazy, but one of the funniest things I remember about school, and it's not even really funny, but it's what comes to mind, is during a prize giving one year, my parents were working, so my grandpa came, may he rest in peace, bless him. And he was a very, if you could imagine, like smart man, always in a collar and tie. I don't think I ever saw him in all my life without a collar and tie. Immaculate. I mean, men of today could learn a lot from my grandpa. He was immaculate. And I remember him coming to my prize giving when I was probably like 12, looking immaculate in a suit, and then he'd forgotten to change his shoes. So he had these like cool retro trainers on. He was mortified. I thought it was funny. I don't think that's probably the funniest thing that happened in my school time, but it's something that came into my head at this time. Okay, so that's funny, and it was funny at the time. How many countries have you visited? Holy moly, a lot. I mean, I haven't had time to prep for this, but I visited, for my age, quite a lot. I'm fairly well traveled. There's plenty more I want to go to. I'm nowhere near done, but I've been to quite a lot. Are you in or have you gone to college? So being a Brit, we don't call it college, we call it university. Yes, I went to university and I studied English literature, and that was a long time ago. Number 9, what is your favorite worst subject in high school? Oh my God, my worst subject was maths. Maths, whatever you call it. Ooh. I think a lot of it was psychological. I don't think I was really terrible, but I think because I had this mental block that I was terrible, I have carried that on into my future life. I am terrible. What is my favorite subject? What was my favorite subject in high school? Or we didn't really call it high school in the UK, we just call it school. What was my favorite subject? I suppose I should say really English, because that's what I did at college or university. I'm not sure it was my favorite. I liked drama a lot, and I liked history. I don't know. They were all the kind of humanities and more my side of the brain, the side of my brain that actually works. Clearly the side of my brain which induces speech is struggling. So yeah, humanities subjects, probably English or history. Number 10, what's my favorite drink? Anything alcoholic. Should I boop that out? No. I'm quite fond of Coke Zero, which is really bad. But wine. I like gin and tonic. I like Pimm's. I like Prosecco. Basically, I'm an alkie. No, I'm not, but hey. What is my favorite animal? Number, that's question 11. What's my favorite animal? Goodness me. Dog. Love a dog. What is my favorite perfume? Either the Jo Malone Wood Sea and Sage Salt. That's not right. I'm telling you, there's something wrong with my brain and the ability to see. I always get this confused. It's sea sage and wood salt. No, it's not. You're crazy. Wood, sea, something and sea salt. Wood, sage and sea salt. Wood, sage and sea salt. third time lucky. Love that. And I also love the white jasmine and mint. Beautiful. So they're my favorite fragrances. Question 13, tea or coffee? Okay, I don't drink tea. I'm a Brit that doesn't drink tea. I quite like, if you've been watching me a while, you'll know I like the sweet tangerine tea. Coffee, I only started drinking when I turned 30. And I love an espresso. Americano or espresso, I don't like milk, I don't like anything else diluting it. I want the hard stuff. I went from not drinking any coffee to the hard espresso. Go bold or go home. Right. What would you, or do you have a name for your children? What would you, or have you named your children? I have a daughter called Rose, and she's lovely. And I don't regret calling her Rose. We chose her name because it's pretty, it's a beautiful flower. We chose it also because, why else did we choose it? Because it sounds the same in every language. When you live internationally, that's quite important. It was short and sweet, I liked it. It was traditional, but wasn't common, and I hate that expression, but there wasn't lots of roses. I know it's a very common second name, but there's not many roses. It's also my mother's maiden name, so it was a tribute to her too. So there were lots of reasons why we chose Rose, and I'm pleased we went with it. What sports do you play or have you played? Oh my goodness. I'm not the world's most sporty person on the planet, but I was a pretty good swimmer and I was a pretty good horse rider. Those were my things, maybe. Who are some of my favorite YouTubers? Oh gosh. Who do I really like? Marnie Goldberg, I really like. Caroline Hirons, I really like. Busby Style, I really like. Goodness. I like some of the smaller YouTubers, and their names escape me now, which is really bad. But I'm pretty new to the YouTube game, so I'm just trying to build my way in. But who else do I watch like religiously? I like the Saucony Jolies too. Oh, and I really like the Mitchellacks. God, that's like, but these are major stars in the YouTubing industry. But I enjoy watching those. I like to watch the families. What's my favorite movie? Oh, I've missed out a question. I'm so sorry. What is my favorite book? Oh gosh. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I don't know why I goshed that. Loved it. As a lit lover, I just loved Wuthering Heights. I loved Heathcliff. To me, it was so different from anything I'd read before, because when you're at school and you read English, they choose the most, well, boring and kind of mundane books for kids to read generally. We're talking about like early senior school. I have no idea why they do that, because it's like the surefire way to stop people being interested in reading and the beauty of literature, of what there's so much exciting and dynamic stuff. And I remember when I was about, I may be 13, reading Wuthering Heights and reading about Heathcliff digging up Cathy, and their love was like the eternal rocks beneath. It was so passionate and raw and kind of like, whew, I loved it. I still love it. It's my favorite book. So we did that question. Next one. What is my favorite movie? Goodness me, favorite movie. I'm not really somebody who has a lot of favorites. I'm very forward thinking. I'm not very good at looking back. My favorite movie might be Sense and Sensibility. That I love, with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet and Alan Rickman. I was so upset when Alan Rickman passed this year. Loved it. That's a great film. If you've not seen that rendition of Sense and Sensibility, I urge you to go do so. It is fabulous. Next question. Am I single or taken? From that, I take to mean, am I single or married or dating or whatever else, hooked up, whatever the language is now. I am married. I've been married for nearly 7 years. I know, I don't look old enough, do I? No. That's what you were thinking. Okay, next question. What's your idea of an ideal five? See, I told you I can't read or speak. What's your idea? What's your idea of an ideal first date? Oh my goodness. Great food, great wine, great conversation. If you can't have any of those three things, don't bother. Great conversation is so important. I'm telling little Elle now, she's just 3. You need to have what she needs to look for. How many girlfriends, boyfriends have you had? Not many. I met my husband when I was fairly young, and I've been with him quite a long time. I had a few boyfriends before that, but Mr. L stole my heart. Next question. Favorite memory from childhood? Oh, there's so many. There are. I can't think of any particularly at the moment. Favourite memories from childhood? I don't know. I had a really happy childhood, so I was very lucky. I hope I can recreate that for my daughter. I think that's why I'm struggling to find anything in particular, because really, generally, I think back at my childhood, generally, I mean, I had bad times. Let's not make this all out to be happy clappy, but it was pretty good. Do I speak any languages and how well? Well, I speak a little bit of French and a little bit of German. I am married to a linguist who speaks like phenomenal languages, a lot of them. So actually that's not very confidence boosting when you're with somebody who does that. So I say I speak very small, but I speak a little bit of French, a little bit of German. I understand much more French than I speak, because let me not go on a rant too much, but when they teach languages at school, they teach you the most rubbish stuff. I mean, none of it applies to actual living. You know, things like, shall I put out the bins today? I mean, how many times have I had to say that in a foreign language? No. How about, how do I get here from here? How do I buy this at a store? You know, these sorts of things. Can you direct me to, anyway, rant over. Do I have any siblings? Yes, I do. I have a brother. Yes, I do. I have a brother. He's a cool guy. He's, I don't know what else to say about him, because he probably doesn't want me to talk about him on here. He's a great guy. His name's Tom. He's good. How would I describe my fashion sense? Classic, traditional, maybe slightly edgy. I think I am very classic and traditional, but I have an edgy side. It comes out occasionally. What's my favorite restaurant? That's tough because I've moved a lot. So I tend to find favorite restaurants. It takes time. And then when I used to live in Dallas, my favorite restaurant was Gemma. That was wonderful. In London, I have a few. What's coming to mind? I really like Poulet au Pot in London. It's a small French restaurant near Pimlico. That's really sweet. The food's very hearty. I haven't found anywhere here. That's on my task. I may come back to that. It's a good question. 27. What is some of your favourite TV shows? God, what do I love? What do I love? This is bad. What do I love? Okay, at the moment, let's take it at the moment. I love... What do I love at the moment? I'm persevering with The Affair. It's series 3 is not great, but it's only the second or third one in, so I give it time. It'll warm up. I like that. That's on HBO. What else do I like religiously? Oh, there's been a British series called The Missing. Amazing, amazing, literally amazing. What else? Quietly, I like a lot of stuff off Bravo when I can be bothered. Although, honestly, I feel like this year they've gone so extreme. It's like either I'm growing up or it's got worse. Either way, we're not gelling. I got sick to death of people asking me about the Royals. So I started watching that. That's an E show, I think. Oh my God, Liz Hurley and... Series 3's just started. It's like so bad, it's brilliant, and it's so fantastic. So that, and in contrast to that, another show I absolutely loved that I watched recently was The Crown on Netflix. Fabulous. If you've not seen it, do it. Sorry, I'm coughing. 28, PC or Mac? Ooh, I've had a Mac, and now I have a laptop, which is a PC, which is a Hewlett Packard. So actually, I'm preferring that at the moment. Sorry, Apple. 29, what phone do you have? I have an Apple phone, an Apple 6S. I think it's a 6S actually, because I'm just too cool. Tell us one of your bad habits. My goodness me, that's the last question. One of my bad habits. I have so many. I have a lot of vices. What am I really bad at? Self-deprecation, which I think is part of British. I put myself down a lot and I don't accept compliments. That's what's coming to mind, just because Mr. L told me off about it this morning. So that's what's in my head. So that was the 30 questions. I just wanted to add one more, because a few people asked me why I am where I am. Why am I British and living in Texas? And obviously I can't go into too much information, because I have to respect the privacy of people who don't want to be on here and who have, you know, like important jobs to do. My husband works in the oil industry, and we have moved a lot with his employment and his job, and it's fun. It has a flip side and a positive side. So I try very hard to focus on the positives. Sometimes that's very difficult, but I've had the good fortune to live in some really great places and meet some fantastic people that if I just lived in the same town that we bought our house in 7 years ago, I would never have got to meet. So there's so many more blessings than hindrances. And I know that where we're living where we are now, I've been here about 5 months. You can't even, when people ask me, do you like where you are? You can't answer that question because it's not fair. It takes at least a year to settle, at least another year to make friends. And then by year 3, you start to feel the flow. And then the rug gets pulled from under you and then we're moving again. And that's if you're lucky enough to get 3 years at an assignment. But I'm hoping, God willing, that we may be at this location for a tad longer than that. So here's willing. So that's why I'm here, my husband's job. But we're hoping to make this a more permanent location and try and get some roots from my little girl, who is a Texan. So, and she's a little Texan, but she has a lot of Brit in her too. So that's it. If there's anything else you want to know about me, please do drop me a comment, drop me a message, drop me an email. You can find me on my blog, thelifestylelady.com. You can follow me on all my social media tags. If you've liked this video, God willing that you have and you've enjoyed it, please subscribe on the subscribe button. If you have enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for the support. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Ta-ta for now.